back at the DMG Dream Center in Clayton. Guys, we've been gone for a while where we've been out of the studio. Kind of had some fun drinking some beer, being a little inappropriate. We're back in the studio. Who do I have with me today?
You've got Eric.
Bazooka's back.
He
Even
hasn't
while
left.
sober, he does it.
Yeah, I know he does it all the time. he was doing it at work the other day too. So we are back today in the studio. We have a lot of cool stuff. We're actually going to go over some current events today, some hot topics in social media, hot topics in the news. You name. Well, I don't even know if you call it the news anymore, but whatever you want to call it.
The fake news. It's fake. It's fake. It's totally fake.
It's all fake news on the right, and it's all alternative facts on the left. So we got it all for you.
Does that make us a leftist podcast?
You know, I don't know. It's kind of interesting, though. We do have the alternative millennial. Not necessarily, because millennial's bad connotation. Alternative relates to the facts. So we're in the middle. We're the alternative millennial.
I just don't like that name millennial. That sounds holier than thou.
Because we are.
Yeah, but we were Generation X, and then it was going to secede down to where you're Generation Y, and that was fine. But no, somebody had to come along and say, well, no, we're actually called millennials.
Hey, your generation raised us to be very controversial and very rebellious. So you can blame it on you guys and the baby boomers. You made us who we are. Just saying.
Well, whatever. I don't agree with that, but I just feel like I get that, and I'm glad that we have a culture that's asking a lot of questions. I think that's very, very important.
Now, if we could just get a culture that would listen to each other.
Well, that's true. Everybody's got their own opinion. Everybody wants to say something, and everybody just wants to talk. And just say, okay, you've had your chance to talk, and now, okay, shut up. Now listen to my chance to talk. But nothing ever gets done.
It's because we don't converse anymore. It's all about proving a point.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah, those Facebook debates and the comment threads. It's just like, oh my god,
just start scrolling.
Popcorn. It'd be a lot different if people were face to face. If you could have a face to face, like a social event, and you could have conversation and debate, people would say totally different things. You would actually get stuff achieved.
Of course, they don't have that barrier of the computer sitting behind them to where they feel like they can, shout obscenities or call people stupid.
Well, you'd completely lose anonymity.
Exactly.
You would not be anonymous anymore. So. That'd be interesting. We should probably host something like that. It'd be kind of cool.
The liabilities would be through.
There'd
be one guy who wouldn't be afraid anymore and just start slugging people.
Speed date. It's like a speed dating event.
Genius.
I think that would be perfect. Speed date. You just talk. You get paired with somebody who you fill out a form, and you get paired with people who feel the exact opposite of yours, and you actually sit down and debate people. You get 2 minutes. Each person's got 2 to 3 minutes to talk, and you just go around robbing.
And as soon as you lose control of your emotion, you get out.
Exactly.
Gone.
Yep.
That's hot swap somebody else in.
That's actually kind of cool.
So how many people do you think you can date?
What?
When we're talking about dating.
How many people you think you can debate in that much time? Going back and forth, middle out. Would girth size dictate how you can?
I think it'll matter at that point.
I'm sorry. We always make SC or Silicon Valley reference in front of Chris. And Chris has no idea what we're talking about.
I have access now through my AT&T Unlimited plan. I have access through HBO Go or HBO Go.
Perfect.
So I got it set up last night, so I saw it on there, and I'm gonna start watching.
It's an awesome show, Silicon Valley. I know we're supposed to be plugging small business. HBO doesn't.
Talking about our entertainment.
Well, HBO doesn't need any more of our business. They're doing quite well, but Silicon Valley is a great show.
Take notes, Facebook.
You being a big tech guy, I know, and my man Eric here, me and him could talk about that show forever. It's really starting to get good, even though with the loss of TJ Miller, which is a kind of a current event in itself. Like, he was let go after last season.
Thanks. I'm glad.
Shit! Man! Spoiler alert for anybody. Damn it. Anyway, he was let go, but the show's actually doing quite well without him. Yeah, so I'm not going to say anything else.
I was worried at first, but it's just as good as it always was.
You guys gotta. If I go home tonight and start Silicon Valley, you guys have to promise me you start Vikings. I'm telling you, the Vikings is.
Is it on HBO?
No, it's not on HBO. It's actually on the History Channel, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Probably find that somewhere then.
If you can find it is fantastic.
Got to be on some Discovery Channel on demand or something.
Yeah, I'm sure there is something out there.
And I know a lot of people probably haven't seen this. Barry on HBO. Barry.
I wanted to start watching. I haven't yet.
I happen to like it as an ex-military guy who takes acting class, and that's kind of like Kind of like me. I'm not
That's like
saying.
sacrilegious. An ex-military guy that takes acting class. Like, who's heard of that before?
Bill Hader is fantastic. He really kind of steps in. He does a different character. He usually played like a really dumb, doofy guy, very very comedic. But this is like lighthearted yet dark comedy, serious. But
Oh, I have to interject here, not to cut you off, Brian.
no, you're fine.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you,
right.
everybody.
Eric forgot.
No, I didn't. That's the first thing my mother said to me this morning.
Really? Wow.
That's how
That's
cool
awesome.
my parents are.
That's awesome. All right.
That's
so
awesome.
anyway, we hope if you guys want to go back and take a look at some of the videos, all the videos are up on YouTube, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
100%
Will Chris
on
Like
YouTube.
It? We are not successful, which Eric was hoping we would not be successful in the Will Chris Like It segment.
Yep.
We're still working on it. We might have another segment tonight, possibly. We'll see.
I'm hoping so.
I think it's futile. You're not gonna like anything.
Well,
You're so picky. You are so picky when it comes
Typical
to
Gen
beer.
Xer, 2 episodes and he already wants to quit. It's not
Right.
worth it.
I don't want to quit. I just feel like this is like I don't
striving
know.
for
It's
perfection
like the
here.
final season of like Game of Thrones. Like nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna.
Our producer just, no more content. No more content.
right? I know.
No, I like it. I want you. I do want to find you something. But you're not a beer drinker by your own admission.
Well, that's why it's such a big challenge. Oh, by the way, will anyone like Brian? We had a Tinder match the other day,
Awesome.
but I'm pretty sure she had a male appendage.
Yes, I made that joke as I looked at took one look at that one. I was like, that woman's penis is larger than mine.
So-
but I don't even think she's real anyway. I think
So whoever, and I'm pretty sure you're right. I think it was a catfish. So as far as Mary, if you're listening and you liked Brian and you were our match on his Tinder profile,
She's not going to be anymore.
yeah, well, it's not there anymore. It's gone.
it's not.
Yeah, it's gone. So it
Oh.
disappeared. So
yeah, that was probably a bot.
I'm thinking
Or
it
either,
was.
it was she was so fucking drunk, and she just said, you know, what the hell did I do last night?
I'm sorry if you guys feel good about themselves for 5 minutes.
But
Yeah.
anyway, Mary, if you're out there, Brian would have chose you anyway, so it's okay.
Actually, she was kind of good looking from the picture I saw, but it was just too good to be true. It just looked too good. It really did
It'd
look
have been
like a bot.
And I will let you guys know, if you catfish us through Tinder, catfish Brian's profile, we totally will catfish the hell out of you back.
Heck yeah, man.
That will make for such good content. And Brian, I know you have a secret admirer. Well, not so secret anymore, but an admirer from Seattle, Washington.
Yes. I'm so glad you brought that up. I finally found him. I lost him when I first saw it. I was away on business in New Bern again, great town again, awesome. And it was Saturday morning, and I just looked at my phone and I had a new message from Facebook Messenger, and it was this guy named Caleb. I'm not going to give him his last name, but if you're listening, Caleb, what's up, buddy? Had one word in the message, and that word was racist. I don't know what to say to that. I thought it was somebody playing a joke with me. I thought it was a friend of a friend. And, in a way, I wanted to say thanks, thumbs up. But I feel like people, maybe he took the wrong, I got the wrong idea about me, and that doesn't realize, I can't really get into the workings of what a joke is. But I will say this, that you didn't even bring up why you called me a racist. You just left one word and called me racist, and I'm starting to think that word is starting to be a little overused. Like,
Yeah, it's definitely overused. But, if you guys, and any one of you, if you reach out to us, if you want to spend some time with Brian, he wouldn't care. I can tell you, by spending time with Brian, he's far from a racist. Well, maybe sometimes. No, that's a total joke. That is a total joke. That's me being sarcastic. I'm not even sure this guy thought you were racist, though. This might have been just a ploy to do exactly what we just did and put him on air.
Yeah.
put you on the spot. Well, yeah, I'll put you on the spot, Caleb. Yes, but tell me why you thought I was a racist. Whether it was something I said, why I was a racist. I don't see how I could be a racist. I mean,
Here's
make
how I
jokes.
look at it. Here's how
I
I
make
look at it.
jokes.
And Eric brought this up. I'm going to actually use your point because it was pretty good. I don't really
do
care. Now it's publicity. We're on from coast to coast.
Yeah, coast to coast. It was coast to coast hate mail.
So,
but I
Caleb-
just wanted him to be more specific. Just tell me why you thought you had to say that. But the fact that he was from Seattle, Washington, was just perfect. Just scrumptious. That was delicious. I just ate that up. No.
Today we will have another bit to add. I'm a bit hesitant, but I'm also a bit enthusiastic.
I'm very hesitant. It's okay.
I'm not sure how to put this. I'm not sure how to go with this, but our producer brought new content for us, and we enlisted him as producer, so we're gonna roll with it.
Deal with it, I guess.
Yeah, we kind of have to roll with this. But we are gonna have Bazooka Brian's bad dad jokes.
Very good.
Gonna be towards the end of the session here. We're gonna get in some important stuff that we wanted to cover today. We want to be a bit more serious today than we were the last couple times. We've been just kind of loosey goosey, kind of all over the place.
And drunk.
Yeah, a little bit of intoxication.
I miss my beer.
I miss my beer. I got coffee.
It's not the same.
I wanted to bring some beer to this recording, but I felt like the last two times we were drunk, and it was, I wanted to be a little bit more serious.
Yeah, I like how we talked about doing a drunk podcast, and then we did two of them.
We did two of them
in a row.
Yeah, it was fun, but I wanted to bring it back to the composition that we had before, the structure. I think that I think the listeners that we do have deserve a bit more content. So
I did enjoy the lovely ladies being there and laughing at me, whether it be completely at me. I appreciated the audience.
Entirely at you.
Okay. Oh, yeah, entirely at you. So first thing I want to get into, I'm gonna jump right into it.
Jump right into it.
I'm curious about what, I don't know if you've heard of it, but
probably not.
Just about everybody should have heard about this. If you haven't, then you've been hiding under a rock, or you've been too busy playing Fortnite or something. Kanye West's TMZ interview.
Yeah, this one I did hear about.
Yeah. This. I twirled with this for a while. I'm not sure. I'm kind of back and forth on his interview, but what the like. I don't know where to go with this.
I can't defend him,
but the Kardashian does to your brain.
That's a good point.
Yeah, well, you ever watch too many episodes of Keeping Up, and you realize I just want to jump headfirst into a concrete wall and just end it all. But I do love what Kanye's saying, because the left is going freaking nuts over it, and. It's just, he's stirring the pot, and I like pot stirrers. I didn't really care for Kanye West for a while, but the fact that he is stirring the pot is making me a big fan of his.
When he came out and said that he was a genius and he was the best rock star, was that him that said that
he's a lyrical genius?
Well, I think he said he was the best rock star in history or something like that. And then he compared himself to Jesus or something.
Probably.
He
Sounds like
lost
something
me a
he would
long
say.
time ago, but I'm not a rap fan anyway, so it doesn't really
his
matter.
first album was great. Everything past that sucked.
Yeah. So it was whatever back then. I'm not a huge Kanye fan. I will tell you though, his rant that he had at TMZ, as much as I don't like him, he's got a good point. He's bringing up, so what he's doing, not his content, what he said I'm indifferent on. But Kanye bringing up the fact of how pissed off people are getting because this guy, this hip-hop artist, this black hip-hop artist has announced his support for a presidential candidate that everybody, half the country seems to hate. People, he actually got a death threat from another rapper.
Oh, yeah.
So, that was actually next on my list, Daz. Daz is being interrogated by the police. He's actually being interviewed by the police for his death threat to Kanye. It's like,
so sending death threats is illegal.
Yeah, he's getting death threats for his support of a candidate, the president of the United States. That brings up a good point.
I think a lot of the outrage isn't coming directly from that. It was his whole slavery was a choice. That's what's pissing everybody off.
And I agree with it. And it, taken in an inappropriate context, absolutely. But I think his intent was slavery. It was a horrible choice of words. Kanye is obviously not good with words unless it's in music. What he said, I'm listening to the guy going, "What the hell are you talking?"
There wasn't a beat behind it, so he got kind of lost.
Put a beat behind it, maybe he would have.
It would have sounded a lot better with some, woodwinds and some, bass drum behind it or something.
The only logical thing that I could think he was trying to make out of that was the fact that it shouldn't have taken 400 years to end slavery. They should have risen up. They should have they should have chosen to end slavery themselves. Now, granted, there's all kinds of historical issues behind that, but I think everybody's taking it at face value. He's not saying that his great-great-grandmother chose to come to America in chains. What he's trying to say is, I think my assumption of what he's saying is the the slavery population, and I'm not just going to say African Americans, because if you look back in history, there's a lot more than just African Americans enslaved. There's actually still slavery going on now in South America. So, when people talk about slavery, we tend to talk about African American slaves because that's what our American history is written on. But slavery is much more than just the African American population. So when I say slavery in general, I think what he's trying to emulate is they should have chosen to rise up sooner or chosen freedom. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. That's what I hope he meant.
Yeah, you can only hope, but he's an odd guy, so it's very possible that he was taking that at face value and saying what he truly thought. Because he's put out some crazy statements over these past few years.
He really has.
He was a little too blunt with that. I didn't hear the whole thing, so I'm not going to try to defend him or criticize him. Being the racist that I am, I probably will come off even 10 times more. But I feel like all this stuff happening in succession is just making it snowball even more than it should. It just being on a support of Trump, which is not really news. This has been going on since 2016, where they appeared together, and he was a big supporter with him.
Right.
And now then he talks about how slavery was a choice, and you put those two together, because Trump's going to get lumped in with that and even be referred to as a racist more.
Yeah, no matter his intention on that comment, though, I do have to agree with just about everyone out there. It was a very irresponsible comment.
Oh,
it was a bad choice of words.
Like, I kind of get his context. I get, not necessarily context, but I get what he was trying to say about how, wow, there were so many of them who were big and strong and could communicate with each other to rise up against, their oppressive, masters. But at
the same token, on the same side of the coin, it's almost unfair for him to say that. He wasn't there. He didn't witness that. So it's a bit.
Yeah,
I get where he's coming from.
Always 2020.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is the same thing. Like with Kanye, it's exactly what happens with Trump. Like Kanye does something great, or does something good, or not even good, but something. Wow, that's crazy that this man would support Donald Trump, and then he goes and says something like that. It's like, oh God, it's exactly like Trump. How he'll go on stage and make a great speech, and then and I've talked about this before. The next week he says something on Twitter, like, oh, fail. Yeah, just stop. You were so ahead.
What'd you have? You look like you had.
No, because it's just hearing this stuff and people the outrage of it, but it shouldn't come as a surprise to a lot of people, because this was the same guy who during Katrina was on TV with Mike Myers saying that George Bush doesn't respect black people, and just went out on a huge tangent.
That was him, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you just see Michael Myers' face during
that. Oh my God, yes.
I remember that.
I've never really shocked me that this is happening all over again.
Yeah, that was a telethon, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
They were collecting money. And
you can see it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube if you want to check it out. I've never seen like the life just leave Mike Myers' face as fast as they did when he said that. Like you would. Oh, Mike Myers wanted to be somewhere completely different after he said that. Oh,
I totally remember that now. I remember watching the video. I'm like, what in the hell is this guy saying? Like, yeah, and then he totally discredited himself too. Because in the same TMZ interview, I watched the entire interview. I watched all 45 minutes of it, which I wish it was 45 minutes I could get back. But
how much lowers your IQ?
Yeah, well, he said some good things. There are some things I'm like, hey, this guy's got it. And then again, it was like, oh yeah, oh, he's got a good point. Oh, what the
exactly.
Hell? Oh, he started going back talking about how he was drugged up and how Another comment everybody was pissed off was that Obama was the opioid of the black community, which I thought was actually a pretty good, comparison. But that's regardless. That goes back to Well, I mean, you think about it. If you've ever had to take opioids, I've had to for a back injury, and Percocets and stuff. At the time, they make you feel fantastic. Yeah. But when you stop, you feel like crap. So it's kind of a fake sense of confidence, but. He goes into talking about how what has changed after 8 years of Obama, and it has nothing to do with color. I'm talking about policy. I'm talking about politics. But then again, you look back, George Bush. What changed after 8 years of George Bush? Presidents don't really mean much.
Yeah.
No.
So that's why I think that I think the black community had a false sense of confidence with Obama. I don't think Obama did anything to help the lower class, and something that. People are talking about now, instead of talking about race, let's talk about class. The lower class. What did he do to pull people out of poverty? So I don't know. There's anyway. Going back to what Kanye started going off, and I think he went off the deep end. I think he discredited himself in that conversation. I think he looked a little bit sillier, but I think he has what he did. I'm glad it happened because it shows how pissed off people will get when somebody came out and announced another one's Candace Owens. She's a right-wing political speaker. She started on Facebook and YouTube. And when she came out, she started a segment. I think it's called Red Pill or Red Pilled or something like that. Mm-hmm. She's a devout. She's a conservative.
Oh, she's making is she making a Matrix reference there? That
yes, Pill? She's making a red.
And she's red, so she's conservative.
Yeah, it's a Matrix reference. But she's got a lot of things she points out controversial, but they're conservative. Conservative ideas. But she's making a riff. She's getting death threats. People are sending her death threats because she's a black conservative woman. So it's anyway.
Yeah. Stop that narrative right now. Don't. Oh, never mind. I gotta shut up.
Yeah, we're gonna turn this into a.
It's three white people in a booth talking about what black people. It doesn't come off right. No, it doesn't I don't want it to sound like that. That's what I was hated about that racist comment that somebody made to me. It's like you're not getting where I'm coming from. I'm just trying to be funny. I'm trying to I'll put us all on a level playing field.
But I think we need to get past that, though. I don't know. When we're talking about this stuff, we're not really talking. The reason I'm referencing, her ethnicities is not because of, I'm giving trouble to, or I'm trying to reference or trying to call out the black community. I'm just giving reference because that's typically the people who are, they're called Uncle Toms. They're called all these names because if you don't subscribe to this particular political ideology because of your color, then you're ostracized.
Like Chance the Rapper did.
Yes,
Chance the Rapper said, "Oh, black people don't have to be Democrats."
Yeah, he came out and said that after.
He kind of rode Kanye's coattails on that, I would say. But I mean, this is a guy who just became really, really famous, and he come from nothing, came out of nowhere and he won an award.
I don't know.
So I don't listen to rap either. So, but that's what because he was on Kit Kat bars and he was selling Dr. Pepper. That's how I know.
So have you seen Eric? Have you seen any of the interview?
No. I've seen the talking points.
The talking points, yeah. And it's funny to see both sides. We talk about this all the time. I mean, I guess that's kind of why we're here.
Yeah.
Both sides talking about it. You see the NBC talking about it, and you see Fox talking about it. And I think we had a conversation before Eric got here about how you watch Fox, and it's like. It's Trump's the best thing since sliced bread, and they're all up his rear end.
They highlight what he said, his talking points. They highlight that. You turn the channel, it's the exact same place, exact same camera setup, exact same speech, but they had what he said in quotes. What he said was crazy. Trump believes NRA people are true patriots, quote unquote, and it makes it sound like it's incredible.
You got one side bashing everybody, and then you got the other side. Their head's too far up the president's rear end. That they can't even give you, actual fact.
It's coming from both sides, people. The shit is being launched at you on both sides. You got to be able to, pull up your hoodie. Ooh, God, bad reference. Pull up your hoodie and just block all that shit coming at you from here and there.
What reference are you talking about?
Oh, don't make me. I'm definitely going to come out as a racist.
Okay, don't say it. Don't say it.
I know
just that. He gets it. He gets it.
To show where I am in the whole news media, I found out about it through Twitter, through the hashtag if slavery was a choice, and some of that stuff's funnier than hell, so I just looked up what the context of it was. That's how I learned about it.
I've seen some of those pictures, some of those memes and stuff. Yeah. I think people are... I can't say that, because if somebody that I didn't like said something stupid like that, I'd be all over that. Yeah. So, I get it.
You
I get
ignore
where
it. That's the problem. You ignore it. And people go, well, if you ignore it, it just gets bigger and bigger. No. When you start arguing back and forth, you give people on the other side of that debate more power to fight back with you. The fact that the media covers this, the fact that we're talking about it on Facebook, on Twitter, the fact that we're breathing life in this. So just stop paying attention to it, and it'll go away. It'll go away. Look at what happened at the YouTube with the Muslim lady with a gun. People stopped talking about it and went away.
Well, then never mind. There's
other reasons. Just stop talking about it. Stop. It's like we're like a bunch of tigers in a cage, and Facebook is the fucking cattle prod, and the media is just get in there.
I kind of disagree with it to a point. I think what you're trying to say, I would say, stop arguing about it. What I would say is talk about it, but stop arguing about it.
You can't talk without arguing. That's
yes, you can.
You think we're there as a species, as human beings?
A majority of people, yes.
In the real, like you said, beneath that, like you said earlier, beneath that computer screen, if you get past that computer screen, that barrier between you and I, or you and somebody out there, face to face. yes, we can have a
So
discussion.
here's the thing.
But
Yes.
between that barrier, no,
Whoops,
we
that
can't.
was my fault, guys. Sorry.
Usually that's my job.
Right? I know.
No, but behind when you come, you bring that barrier down. We can actually talk face to face. Yes, there is discussion without arguments, but with that Facebook barrier, that
you
computer
just
barrier,
said it. You just said it. Us as a people, us as a species, we are to that point. Technology is hindering that. Facebook is just a barrier. We're capable of it. We do it with people we disagree with all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for you,
Think
me,
about where I work and all the people who would come up and talk to me about stuff like this.
yeah, exactly.
it must drive you crazy, dude. Like,
Little
I
bit.
love talking about it. You're just like, yeah,
Yep. Be on your way.
yep. Okay, all right, okay.
But see, I mean, I think what Eric, what Eric and I was saying, I think the species is to that point. We just have too many. There is a barrier you can crawl behind, but instead of physically leaving the situation, now you can just bury your wall yourself off with your social media account. Like that's essentially what's going on. So I do believe we can all sit down together. We can all talk. We can all discuss this. And if you can't, then I mean, it's not that I don't think you're capable. I think there's other obstacles in the way. And I think it says a lot about the confidence of what you believe. If you're so offended by somebody else's opinion that differs with you, that shows the lack of confidence in your own belief system. If you're going to be triggered or you're going to be so upset by somebody else's differing opinion from what you believe, that tells me that you're not that secure in your belief.
David Hogg.
Oh God! I knew that. How do we know that was going to come up?
You
again?
said trigger, but you're right. Like I shouldn't, and I will take back to how previous podcast where I did go off and Eric was trying to push me away, like physically, like pushing me away from the microphone when I got really riled up when you mentioned David Hogg, and then we had a chance to think about it. It's like, oh, you're right. Like let him say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let him say that. It's just empowering our side, and I don't have to get that riled up and have a heart attack over it and lose even more of my hair over a stupid piece of shit like that.
It won't look as bad as Chris.
What's that?
So it won't be as bad as Chris.
Oh yeah, they can't see it anymore.
Chris is going to take over the world for $1 million.
Talk about a Mike Myers reference.
Seriously.
I had to work it away in there.
Just so you guys know, I shaved my head again. You know what?
Again, they
I'm
don't
sorry.
know you shaved it the first time.
So for the first, I don't know, for since I was 10, I think it was, my mom botched a haircut. So she shaved my head. And then after that, shortly after, I think it was, maybe I was 14, 15, I started bicking it with a razor. And it was just easy, it was convenient, it was cool. So never did I realize, coming from, out in the rural sticks of Missouri into populated areas, that people saw a white guy with a shaved head would assume he's racist.
Yep.
Or skinhead.
Dude,
It's unbelievable.
You look.
You know how many times, somebody, now the story I'm going to tell you was with somebody I actually, get along with really well, where I would consider him a friend of mine, but it's somebody we work with, it's a coworker. He made a joke, and we joke about this kind of stuff all the time. He walked up to me, he's like, hey, just so you know, real serious, he's like, just so you know, I got your tiki torches out my car. I'm like, I kind of looked at him, I'm like, what do you... Oh, I'm like, okay. So I do it and I'm white, it's wrong. You do it, or it's racist, and you do it, you're black, it's okay. He goes, yeah, pretty much. So anyway, it was all a joke. It was all in good fun. But anyway, I never knew how many
Get
people.
him out here, by the way.
Yeah, that's going to be a good conversation. We really do. He's actually great with conversation. He knows he disagrees with a lot of the stuff that Brian and I would.
Yeah,
Oh, great! I get to be trapped in a small,
confined
confined space with somebody who can.
Well, that's when you have to reach down and find that in your species. That you
Where I
can.
can just have a conversation and not
just have
go
a
off on
yeah.
them. Yeah.
You might
I carry a knife with me everywhere I go. So.
I don't know, this dude's disarmed a guy with a gun, so
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. But
More current events, baby. More current events.
yeah, talking about as far as current events go. Anyway, the other one I was wanting to talk about. You guys probably guessed. You probably heard of this one too. I can't imagine you wouldn't have.
Come on, what you got?
Michelle Wolf,
Oh God.
White House
Jesus.
Correspondents' Dinner.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
What?
I'm joking.
Okay.
I heard about
No,
it.
you have to like her because we hate her. We need some difference of opinion. I don't hate her. I don't want to say I hate her. I stepped over Eric again. Eric, talk.
Eric, done talk.
Okay.
Brian, talk now.
Okay, Brian, talk now. You're like a B-level correspondent on a B-level show now that Jon Stewart has left. You're not funny. congratulations on getting invited to the Correspondents' Dinner, but like I stopped watching that show because of you and Trevor Noah. It's like, oh, because of black guy and a woman are on the. No, I didn't like Samantha Bee. I love Jon Stewart. I love Colbert. You're just not funny, and I get what you're trying to do, but you're not funny.
I will say, I think some of it was somewhat clever, but it was not humorous. And when it got to the point, and again, I'm going to go back into this. Obviously, everybody knows I'm expecting a baby, but when she made that comment about like abortion, that was. Did you hear that comment?
Again, living under a rock. No, all of it did not watch.
She's trying to be edgy.
Well, and I get that, but her comment was, something about Pence not liking abortion. Pence is anti-choice, but you shouldn't be anti something. Don't knock it until you try it, and then when you try abortion, you got to really knock it so you get that baby out of there. I'm listening to that, I'm like, this is extremely tasteless. Number one, conservatives ran with it. Conservatives loved it. You know why? Because for the first time, a liberal stood up on stage and admitted that abortion was killing a baby. Like it was all over the news sources. Liberal admits abortion is killing baby. Like,
and you had everywhere. A bunch of liberals there clapping and cheering for this.
But I just
B-level celebrity. C. Is there anything below a B? Like a C?
C-level.
Is she C-level? She is a real C. I will give her that. She's a real C.
I mean, the comedy routine was... I was indifferent on the whole thing. There were some clever things in there, even about Trump and stuff. It was kind of clever. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, but it's like that's all they have now is like jokes about Trump. Like even some of my favorite comedians, like they can't do a special on Netflix without some Trump bit. Like, okay, we elected Trump. I was like, how could you elect Trump? Did you see who he was running against?
But isn't that like...
Did you see the shitstorm he was running against?
Isn't that like tradition, though? Comedians always poke fun of the president.
Nah.
Correspondence dinners.
When Obama was president, you never saw that. You never saw that. They would make maybe a little cute joke here and there about Obama. But most of the fact, those comedians were very pro-Obama, but they shat on George W. Bush, which...
They did the same thing to Obama. I don't remember the comedian, but he roasted him, and Obama took it in good stride.
There was, at the White House Correspondence, there was it was a smaller segment. It wasn't near as brutal as Michelle Wolf, but there was a segment. But and this is my problem with it even more so. Why are we having it at the White House Correspondence Dinner? When does the White House become a playground for this comedic relief? Like, I don't know.
Because it's been...
Because they're trying to prove that they're fucking really human beings without sticks up their asses. You're not just
But that's
puppets.
not the case. They are human beings with sticks up their asses. Like a majority of politicians, that's exactly what they are.
Yeah.
A bunch of this elitists that go on Capitol Hill that think that that they want to pad their own pockets. I don't care what side they're on. They're all in their self-interest.
Yeah,
that's why there are career politicians. Career politicians wouldn't exist if you weren't divulged so much in your self-interest. So I don't know. I find it maybe not the place, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. That's just my opinion. But I didn't...
I think the whole thing's not newsworthy. It's just people trying to blow something up out.
Yeah, and I agree. And it was funny because everybody, like even Brian, you're a no-name. Well, she got a lot of publicity out of that.
Oh, yeah, and that's probably why she did. It's like, ooh, not a lot of people really watch me on the TV. What can I say to make people pay attention to me? Look, people, I'm over here. I'm relevant. Dead baby joke.
Yeah. It just...
I thought it was bad. I was trying to come up with a dead baby joke before the podcast, and I couldn't.
Well, keep it up, Michelle.
Jesus Christ. They're dead baby jokes out there.
We're not going to do
There's lots of them. My history teacher used to tell us about every week.
Oh, my God.
Ooh, you got to write some of those down. Those are going to be Brian's.
Who's a cool guy, though?
Bazooka Brian's
He was a cool guy.
Man. Speaking of dead babies, well, I shouldn't say dead babies, but no longer...
Not in a joking way, at least.
Dead boys. Dead Boy Scouts.
Dead boys. Oh, yes. The Boy Scouts. Wow.
Boy Scouts of America are no longer the Boy Scouts of America. You heard about that, right?
Are you?
Yes.
Is that okay? I feel like you
don't watch the news.
You're a character in Minecraft. Instead of building a house on the land, you like just kept digging that tunnel. You built your house inside like the cave where you were spelunking. And like you're in a cave and you don't see anything.
You know how many secret passages I have in Minecraft?
I just choose to look at other news sources for different types of news because this stuff just like infuriates me and saddens you, and I don't care. But, the fact that the Switch is looking to push 20 million units this year and they got a big E3 event, I can talk to you all about it.
They dropped the price. I'm definitely buying one.
They're not going to
Bring it up. Let's talk about that. I don't know about that. So I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum with you on this.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk. I had some Boy Scout jokes.
We'll get back
Yeah,
to
I
it.
was going to say, we can keep the serious stuff together, and then we can go into my nerdy stuff at the end.
All right, that sounds good.
Okay, because I had some Boy and Girl Scout jokes.
They don't start making them.
Well, the one thing I want to why
Boy
did they?
Scout walks into a
It never comes out. No, what I was gonna say, the baby joke. Yes, I found it.
God.
It's there.
Anyway.
No, what I was gonna say is I don't know why. I just feel like why are we changing? Who cares? But why are we changing names? Why are we changing where all the girls can go in the Boy Scouts? Why don't they just let the girls in the Girl Scouts do the same shit that the boys in the Boy Scouts do? Why do we have to change it? I mean, I feel like, we shouldn't keep them apart. But there should be certain things like guys want to do with guys and certain things girls want to do with girls. I mean, that's why there were all these moose clubs and these Shriners clubs. Guys, these guys can go down to the club and play cards and have a beer with their buddies and not have the, back in the day, not have to, do the wifey thing. Wait, set that aside. There's my guy time. But anyway, I don't really care. Change the name. I don't care. But I did have some jokes. And my first joke was that I could have never been a Boy Scout in the mid-'80s. I talked too much. Those Scoutmasters were smart enough to exclude me and save themselves the hassle explaining their actions to a judge. And I don't blame them at all. I was a gorgeous little kid. A great big bowl of purr paste. And for you Girl Scouts out there, I love Girl Scout cookie season. I absolutely love it. I love it because now I get to reject little girls. Well, look like the shoes on the other foot. Not interested. So, anyway. No, I was just saying that because I was thinking of mine.
Joke's coming.
So what? No more thin mints
That
for
was all
Brian?
the delivery. It was all delivery, but I just saw myself during Girl Scout cookie season. I was avoiding these little girls. Like, they'd be at one side of the grocery store. And
The hell with that.
they'd be on one side of the grocery store. I'd make an attempt to go out the other, to go inside the other grocery
If
part of the
child
store.
labor was legal, you know how many companies could thrive off little Girl Scouts selling their product? They stand outside of Walmart. I walk out and this big BDO. Sir, would you like to buy some Girl Scout? I'm like, son, I look at my wife and she doesn't even say anything. She
you
gets money
fall
out of her
for it,
pocket.
dude.
When I go in, I gotta avoid them. I'm like, I
told you, like I
get
did.
out of the way.
I was on that side of the grocery store. I intentionally walked past them.
They're worse than
to the
crack
other
dealers.
side. Yes.
I will go to stores specifically because Girl Scouts are there.
Oh, my
Because I want my, what are they called? The caramel delights now?
Okay, I'm glad you said cookies. Because you said you make a point to go there because they're there. So
Not you.
that joke is better than my joke.
Oh, what happens when you don't
No,
write
but
those down?
even and so you see that, and they say, "Sir, would you like to buy some cookies?" I look them dead in the eyes, like, "No, sweetie, I don't." And I walk on. That's all I do. I just honest with them, like, "Hey, not everything's gonna work out. Not everybody's gonna buy what you're selling." But I've even made a point to where I knew that they funnel you out in some grocery stores where you have to go there. So I made a point to walk all the way to the other end of the store and go in through the entrance, leave the entrance side, so I didn't have to talk to them.
There was a few months ago. I think it was a few months ago, or last year or something like that. I remember seeing in reading the article. There was an article. There was a Girl Scout that posted up outside of a pot dispensary in Colorado,
yes.
and
It's
she made a
genius.
killing.
Yes, she's
And
a
they were-
genius.
They were trying to say that she was in the fault. There was some legal issue that came out. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Well,
Like this.
an underage child within a certain distance of a pot dispensary does look a little bad. But I will give her the initiative for that. Was smart
That's
as hell.
free market capitalism.
I'm not going to complain about that. I'm just saying, legally speaking, they probably do have a case because, you show that on a poster, oh, this girl was 10 feet away from a pot dispensary, and people freak the fuck out. But, hey.
Yeah, completely out of context, too, because it's not like they're in there smoking.
But-
There's no risk
yeah,
for her.
absolutely.
Well, you don't. I know. I'm just talking about how it looks when you put it in print, when you show it on the news, how everybody likes
Fake
to
news.
poop their diapers
That
about
young
it.
girl is going to grow up to be an entrepreneur. She's going to start a business, and she's going to blow Bill Gates out of the water.
If it was
Start a
her
podcast.
idea, but
Kill
that
us.
sounds like it was her dad's or mom's idea of like when we were in college, man. Well, I would have loved for you step out of the dorm room. I wish there was like a Girl Scout selling cookies. Like I would spend all my tuition on them. I mean, you give me some. What was it? What are the Samoans? Oh, they changed the Samoans.
Caramel Delights.
Yeah, was that what you were saying earlier?
Yes.
Okay, the
Why'd
Samoans.
they change it?
Because it's racist to call it a Samoan.
Oh, really? I didn't know that's why they changed it.
Yep.
That's great. I did not
That
know
was a couple
that.
years ago.
Well, they used to call Thin Mints Nigerians, and look, they had to change.
Oh, God.
See, this is why fake news is a thing. You say shit like that,
And people think I'm real. Like, it was a joke. It was a joke.
Somebody's going to go on Facebook. I heard on a
'cause
podcast
they're
they used to call Thin Mints Nigerians. Oh, my God.
well, the source of a new Facebook witch hunt, the views will be amazing.
Well, they're really thin, and they're very black.
And you wonder why you got called racist. Oh, my God.
I'm making myself laugh on that. That was on the spot, kids. I shouldn't write down jokes anymore. I just keep keeping it coming right off the cuff.
We're going to be a witch
If
hunter.
you're offended by it, I'm totally joking. I mean, you can make a joke about a white cookie or something. I don't know. Lorna Doones or fucking shortbreads. They taste
Lorna
like
Doone.
white cookies. Taste shitty. Sugar cookies, Lorna Doones.
That is not true. Snickerdoodles.
That's a Hispanic.
Oh, my God.
It's just lightly brown. Colombians are. If you ever had a Colombian, they're delicious.
No, it's
they
not. It's
they take exactly like coffee and chocolate.
White cookie sprinkled with little cinnamons. What's the difference between that and a basic white girl tanning?
Oh well, yeah. Or,
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you got me there. But I will say this: I was
Yeah, weird
disappointed.
subject.
I was really disappointed by the name Snickerdoodle because when I hear Snickerdoodle, I'm thinking of Snickers, like peanuts, caramel, chocolate, nougat deliciousness. Fucking Snickerdoodle is just a sugar cookie with cinnamon sprinkled on it. That's all it is.
It's got a point, 'cause
What a
I thought the
letdown.
same thing for the longest time.
What
So I was
came
like,
What came first though, the Snickerdoodle cookie or the Snickers candy bar?
Got to imagine the Snickerdoodle.
We can.
Yeah.
You probably Google that shit.
So,
Hey Siri, what came?
none of us in here own an iPhone.
No, it's small smartphones. I was
Hi
like, hey,
Bixby.
okay, Google.
No, or Hi Bigsby.
Yeah, I refuse to use that. I
Ooh.
disabled it. I hate the buttons there. I'm gonna rip it out.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of crappy.
It's so stupid.
We were in mid-conversation the other day, my wife and I, and something, and it comes up and says, I don't understand that. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It's creepy to know that somebody's constantly listening to you.
Yeah, that's a tech trend that I'm hoping dies out soon. Is voice activated bullshit.
Yeah, the Amazon.
The Echo.
The Echo, and then the, what's the other one? Alexa.
Oh yeah, Alexa's
It's
sister.
creepy as hell.
Family Guy did an episode about that recently. It's very good, so I highly recommend checking it out.
The thing that used to drive me nuts is Xbox used to have it. Every Xbox, the new one though, the one came with a Kinect, which was a camera and you was a lot of voice control, and it was good to an extent. I could sign in just by saying my name, but it got to a point where you'd log in like a lobby online. Somebody would go Xbox off, and you just see 6 people drop because that turned their Xbox off. It's stupid. It's not a necessary thing, and I don't like voice-activated things because of that.
Bill Gates was watching you as you slept.
He probably was.
He was watching you undress. He was watching you brush your teeth. He was washing when
You might want to stop there.
Okay.
Yes, because I keep my Xbox in the bathroom.
You don't brush your teeth naked standing in the living room like me? Like I was presenting. I was hoping it would not. Okay.
A bit more positive news. The Charlottesville incident. Remember everybody remembers the Charlottesville riots.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, where the white supremacists showed up, and one of the white supremacists was found guilty in the case of a beating of one of the guys that attended the rally. So
Good.
I thought that was good news. I mean, anytime you can see people that actually do commit those crimes, they
Coming
need
to
be held.
justice, that mob mentality, thinking that they can get away with anything. And
Yes, especially somebody who is actually participating in a KKK or white supremacy group. Like, we don't need any more perpetuation of racist issues coming, especially from those groups. Like, what are you trying to prove? What is the mission statement of the KKK? Seriously, like
to preserve the white race.
that's exactly my point. Like,
But I don't understand how that keeps getting perpetuated. Like I would think that would have died out a long time ago, but it just seems like that's being perpetuated. But these are the kids that are doing this were kids when I was in school and we were doing all this. Like that's wrong. That's wrong. These I was in class with black children and Hispanic children and Puerto Ricans. Just kidding. Shout out to my buddy Terry. But I just don't understand how that
One
keeps
shout
getting.
out, whole lost audience.
I don't see how that keeps getting perpetuated, and until we figure it out, I don't think it ever will.
everybody's perpetuating. Like you said, that word is wore out. Like racist is wore out. So I think what we're doing is we're looking at these crimes of these people who are actually guilty. Like for instance, this guy in Charlottesville has been held accountable for his actions, and I think people are perpetuating that crime and that image to even more people that they may not just agree or just don't agree with, not necessarily people who are guilty of the same crimes. You can have an idea, you can have an ideology that is somewhat racist, but not actually commit racist crimes. And I think that's some of those people are being looked at the same way. Not saying that they shouldn't be. I mean, if you have racist ideas, then obviously you are, by definition, racist. However, there's a difference between having a mob mentality and beating and destroying someone's life and just sitting at home, thinking that way. I
writing your manifestos, just watching movies where they, you get off on that.
Don't get me wrong, it's a very thin line, but you cannot, you should never be, persecuted for your ideas or your thoughts versus your crimes. Your crimes always have to be persecuted.
Yes.
What do you think about that? I thought you had something to say. He leaned back like he had something to say, and I'm like,
say something, talk
honestly,
more.
You want to keep, what's on my mind is you said sitting around watching their racist movies, and all I could think of was American History X.
Yes.
A good movie. But that was all I had on the subject.
Well, I mean, if you watch that movie yet, go ahead, sorry. No, if you watch that movie, it's kind of teaching you a lesson, but there's a lot of, deep-rooted, very racist, anti-Semitic, messages in that film.
But see, and that's
where nobody learns their lesson at the end of that movie.
There is, but you see his character kind of evaluate himself, look deeper into himself, and change, which is something that people aren't doing.
There's a deeper lesson with that movie, though. The deeper lesson is the fact that that's the way it used to be. And I think people need to look at that and see what, the communities that were persecuted or oppressed, that's what their ancestors went through. That's what they dealt with in these communities. So I think there's a deeper lesson to be learned. But to get back to it, it's good to see, especially white supremacists that committed violent crimes. There's no room for that. It's 2018.
Yeah.
There's no room for lynching. There's no room for these idiots out there that are walking down with sheets on their head. I'm sorry, but if you're in part of the KKK and you have a white sheet on your head, you're an effing moron. You really are. There's no room for any of that anymore. Now we're gonna get hate mail from the other side.
If we get hate mail from the KKK,
absolutely enjoy seeing it.
And if you send us hate mail from the KKK, you will be plastered all over social. No, you won't. I don't want to give you the platform.
No, don't give them the platform.
Yeah, but we will talk about you
secretly behind your back.
And you're not getting those back dues.
But anyway, I brought that up because that was in the news. That was something that I was happy to see. What? Oh God, Brian.
He was so into what he wants to say, he didn't get my joke. Well, I am a racist. I'm not a racist. I made the point on another podcast to say I went to my 20-year high school reunion and I realized I had more black friends than I had white friends.
That's something a racist would say.
Yeah.
If you have to point out the color of their friends.
Yeah. No, but it's completely different because this guy was really white and this guy was really black. It's kind of hard to miss. No, but that's what I'm saying. It's a joke. Having a joke, being able to joke with one another, being able to have fun and not take it so seriously. That's the problem. You have your thoughts, but at the end of the day, if you're beating somebody up because of what they believe or their skin color, go fuck yourself, man. You're a waste of space on this planet, and we need more people like me who would just joke about it.
I was agreeing with you up to a point.
Hey, that was a Trump moment. Oh, you're doing so great. Another good news that I saw was pretty cool. You remember we were talking about the Starbucks guys? The guys got arrested for sitting in Starbucks. Starbucks called the cops on them.
I know about this one.
You know about this one?
I do.
You want to tell us about it?
Yes, that they settled. That they're getting $1 each. And that the rest of was $100,000?
No, so it's $200,000.
$100,000 from each of them.
Yes.
All going to a charitable foundation. I don't.
It better. I'm sorry. I don't. Again, I'm going to come off with racist. But if you get money,
hold on, just a second. So I'm gonna throw it out there so everybody knows the situation first. It's going to a young entrepreneurs funding. They have a, what do you call them? Like a scholarship set up for young entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. So all the money that they got, they accepted $1 each to make a statement, and they're giving the rest of it away to this young entrepreneurs group. If people like this that were subjected to issues like Starbucks have subjected them to, they would handle it with this much class. Do you know how much progression we could have? You know how much progress could be made if people handled it like that? I read that. I'm like, I want to meet these guys.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's awesome.
Well, they did a great job going on the circuit and talking to news organizations. It was great that yes, they were put on the spot. They were humiliated. I really hope that their money does go to a charitable cause and does help other people. But if you, never mind. I'm going to say something that's going to get me in trouble again. I hate when people get money. I hate when people get money for those instances. It just seems like that they're not really you're not making anything better. You're just saying, oh, well, hey, if we get arrested in Starbucks, we can sue for $200,000.
Well, I don't think that's the case. I think what it was what they were subjected to, and I don't think
it's completely embarrassing. I don't want to come off as a racist. It was completely embarrassing and emasculating, humiliating. It was a terrible thing to do.
I also, to add to that, I don't think it's something they requested. It's not like they went in looking for a lawsuit. It was a settlement. So
it was the
city settled with them for that reason. And now I could be wrong. It could have been a settlement that they requested. I don't know. I'm not going to get into the details because I don't know. Regardless, being subjected to that, everything out of this, there's a great lesson to be learned. Yeah. And it was pretty cool to see them handle that with class. They didn't come out in the news and the media and start preaching. They didn't start. Basically, what I'm trying to say is they didn't start a firestorm. They did something good for their community. They turned a bad situation into a positive. And I think that there's a lesson for that all of us could learn. Instead of creating a firestorm and creating a frenzy and pitting people against one another, which they could have very easily did. Yeah. They could have used that platform that they got arrested, and they could have used that platform, and they could have stirred it up big time.
They could have.
It could have been a huge civil rights issue, and maybe rightfully it could have been. However, they didn't use that. They kept it. They kept it between them. They donated the money, and they kept it. And what I liked about it is they kept $1 just for symbolic purposes. Yeah. So anyway, I saw that in the news. I thought that was pretty awesome. I thought that was pretty classy. So shout out to those guys for being, I don't know their names. I apologize, but I think that was pretty classy. So
like we discussed on the last podcast that Starbucks was going to close their store on May 29th. For one day for sensitivity training. I just feel that that's reactive instead of being proactive.
No, it's definitely reactive.
I mean, this stuff, the Starbucks has been around since the 1970s, and they think like one day of closing their stores to teach, racial bias
unconscious bias training. One day's not going to do a thing.
No, it's not.
I still stick to my guns on that.
Here's a rule. Here's a rule, people. No matter what race, color, or gender somebody is, just be nice to them. If they're whatever, I'm just be nice. Ask them. Treat others as you would like to be treated. Go up to them. Hey guys, can I get you something? No, we're waiting for our friend before we order. Okay.
Yeah, simple. Really simple. I mean, it wasn't there. None of us were there, so we can't really talk about exactly what happened. But if what was portrayed in the media and what they said happened, if it happened exactly like that, it could have easily been knocked out. It could have been a simple conversation. Hey, we're waiting for a friend for a sales meeting. Even if they're not, okay, what harm are they really doing by just kind of sitting there? So, I don't know. We weren't there. We can't really speak on that. I am going to speak on the outcome. We can always say what we would or wouldn't have done. Like you said earlier, hindsight's always 20/20. So, I just wanted to comment on their actions after, because
I will say this as somebody who's managed a bar and been in the service industry for a while. If you come into a business and you're not buying anything, and I got people at my bar or trying to get into my bar who do want to spend money, I'm going to kick you out. And it has nothing to do with your race. It has nothing to do with how much money you have or your gender. It's about business. At the end of the day, it's about business. Yeah, I'm going to be nice about it. Like, hey, look, you guys got to buy something.
A bar is very different than a Starbucks, because how many people just walk into a Starbucks, open up a laptop, and don't buy anything?
Didn't you want to talk about making the bars the new Starbucks to where people do that? I mean, eventually that's going to tilt to that side.
I think what he's trying to reference.
I'm saying for right now, though, you walk into any Starbucks in the country, you're not going to have any issue if you just start sitting there.
I mean, if you're white, but I cannot be.
I get what you're saying, and that was what a lot of this boils down to. But
we can get a full 30 seconds of seriousness out of Brian, and then after that, he's got to make a bad joke.
I got to make a joke.
Start a little timer.
It's all funny.
Okay. Yes. And
no, it's hard. It's hard. You see, I hate debating with you. I can debate with Chris because
you guys agree on things.
Kind of agree with things. It's hard to debate with you because I don't agree with what you say, but you have those beautiful eyes to where it's hard not.
Told you, 30 seconds of seriousness. That's all we're getting. I told you.
No, but seriously, it's hard to debate you because I like you so much as a person. Like, I'm like, yes, tell me. Like, I agree with you.
No bad joke out of it?
No. I already told my bad jokes. My bad jokes. We got some more bad jokes coming, kids. Don't worry. But I understand, like, it's a completely different. People aren't just going into a bar, setting up a laptop, working on the screenplay, or just going on Facebook saying, hey, I'm here, without buying anything.
I mean, I bought a small coffee when we originally had the meeting for this podcast just because I felt bad.
I felt like I need to buy something. I am not giving them any of my money.
Yeah, I felt bad for it. I don't know. But that's because I'm business minded.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you go into a business. Whatever. Spend some money. Buy $1. What's the cheapest thing, man? What is the cheapest thing you have on your menu?
At a Starbucks, it's probably at least $5-6.
No, actually, the small coffee is like $1.75. Just a black coffee.
Give me a black coffee
Or something. It's a couple bucks. It's not. It's not going to break the bank.
Just start slowly going up.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, we're waiting for a friend. Well, we'll get some coffee. I mean, get a scone.
Well, I'm not going back into explaining what these guys should have done. Like I said, I'm talking about
I'm not saying what they should have done either. I just that's my side for the business side. I like I said, I'm not judging them because of their being black. It's a business. You're in a business. There's a store, and I don't agree with that people go into Starbucks and just set up their
people do it all the time. People do it all the time.
And I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I don't agree with that. I'm saying get out of my store if you're not spending money. Go home if you're going to do that.
I thought he was disagreeing.
You want the free Wi-Fi?
Yeah, I thought he was trying to say people aren't doing it. I was like,
no, I'm saying they are doing it, and people don't seem to care.
You
but
disagree
they should
that
care.
They do it. Okay.
They should care. You're in a business. Spend some money. This is why we live in a capitalist country. Money makes it go around. You can't just sit around and get free Wi-Fi and just free water and use their bathroom and not spend any money, man. I'm in business. Get out of my store.
Unless that business says you can.
If that's what that business says they want to do, I'm not going to say anything about
I think that's something maybe should have been outlined before.
Yes, because as we're having this conversation, thinking that you're coming in, you're participating in this business, we're not buying anything. I'm just saying.
You're right.
It's different context for different situations.
I get lost in those big, beautiful eyes of yours, and I just can't stop.
I'm sitting over there next to you.
Yeah, you can have...
so I get a better view of you, and I don't have to turn my neck and get a headache just staring at you all the time?
All right, so Brian, what's else going on?
What else is going on there, Mr. Chris?
The only other thing I wanted to talk about, I mean, I had a couple other things, but, I mean...
Can we talk about Trump talking at the NRA? Did anybody see that?
I don't really care
about
that.
You didn't.
I'm indifferent about it. I mean...
He did a really good job in that speech, but I will say one thing. When he took the turn to talk about illegal immigration, it kind of made me like, because he likes to do what all these Republicans like to do is lump these quote-unquote foreigners in with these gang members. And that's the same shit that these liberals do every time they talk about guns and how all guns are bad, not these law-abiding citizens. There are law-abiding illegal immigrants.
Just made a good point.
I made a great point, and I'm saying that's
mediocre.
Why
okay,
it's mediocre, but it cuts both ways, and I hate that. I hate the same way the liberals talk about gun control, the same way Republicans talk about immigration.
So what was he referring? Was he referring to the caravan of people that are coming from South America?
Yeah, talking about that. He was making these things how these people are coming in here, and they're not the best. They're not the best. They're not sending us the best. Like some of them are. Being a bar manager, I've worked with a lot of people who were undocumented, and I'm not going to drop any names, but they were some of the nicest people, most welcoming people I've ever known.
I've worked with undocumented people before as well, and I agree with you. They were some of the hardest working, and I have no problem with undocumented people. Somebody's going to crucify me for saying this, but I have no problem with undocumented people here working, paying their dues. What I have a problem with is how much more complicated and how much harder they make the system for people trying to come in legally.
Yes, absolutely.
So that, to me, does pose a problem. Another thing I have a problem with, and I'm not saying everybody does this, but we know it happens, people that come across the border to take advantage of the welfare systems. And I'm not saying welfare in general, I'm talking about SNAP programs, stuff like that we have for a reason. We have that the poor, the unhealthy could take advantage of. Again, a social program that I think is the rightful thing to do with the government. Some people might disagree. Some people that think I'm libertarian or that there's fellow libertarians be like, oh, you're wrong. That's not necessarily a libertarian view. But at the same time, it does complicate the system. If somebody comes across the border and now they enroll in SNAP, there shouldn't be an allowance there for somebody who's never paid into that system. And it's not a personal thing. It's not that I don't like immigrants. It's the fact that throws off the numbers of the system. If you know anything about economics, that completely deteriorates the system. So when you want to argue about immigration, and this is actually something I wanted to point out, NBC, shame on you, because your coverage of that immigrant caravan coming from South America, they on their post, they showed a young mother feeding her child, breastfeeding on a bus, and then they were all it looked like they were just in a horrible condition, which they may have been. But we were trying to elicit emotion from people. They wanted us to feel sorry for that caravan. They came to the border knowing it's illegal to cross. I don't know how to, exude emotion from that. I felt like it was a play on emotion for something that really shouldn't be happening. So if you want to stand back and say that we should have open borders, that's fine. But now you're going to have to deal with the repercussion of open borders. Open borders, I can tell you right now, is not a good thing. Every country knows that because every country has borders. They all have repercussions for crossing those borders.
You got if not just to keep people out, we got to be able to keep track of who's coming in and who's leaving. Like there has to be a little bit of accountability. And the one thing that drives me crazy was like, why are there these caravans? What's going on in those countries to where they feel like they have to pack up in droves and move?
Well, they said they gave.
What is happening in those countries? Why aren't we fixing those countries?
I'm giving you the answer. So in South America, They said it was from gang violence. There's so much gang violence going on. Now, here's the ironic thing: in most of those countries, they are social, or they're socialism. They're socialist countries. Or they're leaning towards social. I shouldn't even say socialist. I'm not going to throw people who agree with. Yeah, I will, because I'm not.
And I want to hear their gun laws too. What are their gun laws?
That's
probably no guns.
That's completely irrelevant, but somewhat irrelevant. I get where you're going with that, but let's save that for another podcast.
I can talk about it.
I know you can.
I'll talk about gun control. Let's talk about gun control. You get me going off.
But I think when we talk about that, you're right on the fact of what's going on in those countries. But it's not the United States' job to fix that.
No.
We can't exude all of our resources into fixing other countries. Now, should there be humanitarian aid? Absolutely. I mean, we should be a country that leads the way in humanitarian efforts. I completely agree with that. But when you look at deals that we cut with like Iran, the money we gave to Iran, why aren't we utilizing that for improving the immigration system? Why isn't it easier for people to come here? That's what we need to focus on. That's the problem. The problem is not people are jumping the border illegally. The problem is why isn't it easier for them to get here?
Yeah.
And that's where I have a huge problem. And people want to point fingers at the political figures. Oh, well, Trump wants to build a wall. Well, yeah. What's the problem with, like you said, keeping people from, there's got to be some kind of border there. You can't just have open immigration. I mean, if that was the case, if it's so great, well, I would pack my car up and go drive into Canada. Do you think I'm going to get into Canada's border without a passport?
No, Where's the passport,
10 years ago, yeah. Now, no.
But you see what I'm saying? And they're
But you could if you wanted to go through the backwoods and hike through it with some camping gear, and then you could probably sneak through.
But would I not be breaking their laws?
Yes, you would be.
Exactly.
You totally would be.
I'd be a criminal.
You can do it, but you would be breaking the law. Just like did Eric just agree with building a wall?
No.
Build that wall. Build that. No, and that's the thing. As far as people think, like I support Trump, I'd never supported that freaking wall. And I've said this before. Anybody ever heard of El Chapo? What did he do? He dug a freaking tunnel. So walls really don't. He was in a really big wall. And
that's what I'm saying.
Really
and that's
help.
Why
if somebody wants to get in this country, it doesn't matter.
But if you make the system easier and less expensive for people to come here illegally, they won't hire these illegal coyotes. They won't be funding these border terrorists.
There wasn't a 10-year wait on trying to get citizenship from some countries.
Exactly.
People wouldn't be jumping the border all the time.
And that's you essentially, again, here's the very liberal side of me, decriminalizing recreational drugs. Can you imagine if you decriminalized the drugs, how quickly that would end the drug war? I mean, if you could sell, let's just start with marijuana. If you could sell and regulate marijuana stateside in every state, how quickly would that shut down marijuana coming across the border?
Nope.
I'd buy steak and buy some stock in Frito-Lays and Hostess.
But So there's a pattern that people don't pay attention to, and that's one thing with conservatives. They're all about improving the immigration system, but let's have this huge war on drugs. It doesn't go hand in hand.
Right.
It doesn't work. And conservatives are free market capitalists, but we are war on drugs. When has prohibition worked? Prohibition has never worked. It has not. It never will.
But we have all these pharma girls passing off, hawking, medication that hasn't been tested fully to these doctors who recommend their patients. And then, certain side effects, lose a bit diarrhea. Blah, blah, blah,
well, why shouldn't you be able to?
You can get that. Hey, doctor, I need this. Well, here, take this. It might make your anus bleed profusely, but it'll get rid of your headaches.
You
I'd
got a
rather
good
have the
point.
headaches.
You got a good point. There's a lot of big pharma medications that get passed through and get jammed down our throat, but yet we can't go across the border to Canada and try experimental medication.
Right.
That doesn't make sense to me. If I want to try experimental medication, if it's me, if I want to order DMT from God knows where across the world, that's on me. That shouldn't be on anybody else. What are you doing?
I smell a Segway.
Segue.
Oh, I thought you were segueing into Mr. Little Boy.
Just say it.
Alfie. I thought you were talking about Alfie.
Hey, that is a good
I
segue.
thought you were he was segueing and you didn't even know it, folks. He's that good.
It's just my man of many talents.
That's where I thought you were going with it, because we were talking about that earlier, and you put it on the hashtag on our Facebook, so check it out.
Yeah.
SoundCloud.
Well, that's a good point. And now I was talking about that. Alfie. Alfie Evans was the kid in the UK that was, I'm going to say this abruptly, people disagree with me, but I think he was commissioned to die by the state. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me, at least. Italy gave him asylum. They didn't give him asylum. They gave him citizenship to go to Italy to have experimental treatment. And the judges said that he was subject to the higher courts because he was a UK citizen, and they commissioned the hospital to pull life support against his parents' will.
Wow.
Say what you want. Maybe if I got the story wrong, please let me know. That's what I read earlier from multiple sources. Completely and utterly disgusts me. It's similar. There was another story I want to say it was maybe last year, similar to that. The parents wanted to, on their own dollar, bring their kid to the United States for experimental testing or experimental treatment. And the UK said, no, you can't. You're not allowed to. I think that kid ended up dying too.
Wow.
So their reasoning is that these children need to die with dignity. They believe if you keep testing and keep experimenting and using experimental medication, that should be illegal.
Yeah, if the parents could afford that and do whatever they could, or you're going to get on me because I said if they could afford it, you're going to get on me for, well. But I feel like if their parents were doing it on their own dime, what the hell does it matter? You can't give them people can go to Italy for 2 weeks on the damn vacation. I mean, you can't give me some time to go save my dying son? I didn't read any of this. I don't know. Whatever I know about it is what I saw on Facebook, so I'm not going to make any opinions. I'm just, like, what I've heard, like, what does it matter? Why would you prevent that?
I don't know the ins and the outs, but here's the thing. If you're a citizen of either country, if you're a citizen of Italy, and they gave him citizenship, even if the parents couldn't afford it, does he not now earn the same rights as any other citizen? Once you earn citizenship, it goes with our illegal immigration. Once you cross that border, if you do it right and you're a citizen, absolutely, every opportunity that we have is now afforded to you. And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be in this case, too. So even if the parents couldn't afford it, any opportunity to save his life that would be afforded to any other Italian citizen should have been afforded to him. Same in the UK. I have a hard time watching a judicial system control what the parents' decision is based on what? Based on 3 judges' intuition? Based on their ideology?
Yeah.
Have you ever had to make the decision to pull the plug on your child? Like, if you haven't, I have a hard time with you making that mandate them the hospital pulling the plug on a 2-year-old kid. Would he have lived with experimental treatment? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Maybe he would live a week. Maybe he would live 2 months. That's not their decision to make. That's the parents' decision to make. And there was what brought this to my attention was actually a meme before I did research on it. It was a meme that said, was Jimmy Kimmel said he was crying to push socialized medicine over his baby, and then at the bottom it says that socialized medicine kills a kid, and Jimmy Kimmel doesn't say a word.
Oh yeah.
Now
he was on stage with his son, like crying, and
it's a meme. It's extreme. It's not. It's a bit unfair to him. I'm not saying that socialized medicine killed the kid. I'm saying
it's very hyperbolic. I get it.
Yeah, but I wanted to bring that up because that was near and dear to my heart. I'm having a lot of emotional changes on like I said, abortion, this kind of stuff. Just becoming a parent, man. It fuels you. It changes your mind on a lot of stuff. I know you won't.
No,
I know you'll never go through that. But if you ever have a kid, it changes your mind on a lot of stuff.
Those big, beautiful eyes.
See, here we got like a minute and a half out of them.
I was silent for that. Was very intense, and I had to break it up.
So anyway, let's go ahead and close this down on a better note. What was your topic on technology?
Oh, in terms of real world-changing tech, there's nothing going on right now. Everyone's saving everything for all the big summer events.
I heard we were in a bit of a waiting room in technology because there were talks of like see-through glasses that would give an overlay, like a hub or what is it, with a HUD. Heads-up display.
The, AR glasses.
Yeah. But
you'll hear mentions of a lot of this stuff, but for the time being, you got stuff like CES and the Tokyo Tech Show and everything coming up in the next couple months. So everyone's just hush right now.
what were you talking about Twitch earlier?
Switch.
Nintendo
Switch.
Oh, Nintendo Switch. Gotcha.
Nintendo Switch.
Trying to be, they've already reached the point where they've the most selling console of all time, and now they're trying.
Really?
And it's been out for a little over a year. 17 million units.
They've been very low key. I have not seen any commercials for video games. I think they played that Zelda commercial maybe once. But
I haven't
seen
that.
anything.
But yeah, they're already looking to push 20 million this year.
Nice.
Financially. So that means that big things, if you're a Nintendo fan, there's going to be some big drops coming up. They're trying to do those big numbers.
Thought of you the other day. I saw something on Facebook. It says North Korea and South Korea can make peace, but Xbox and PlayStation can't play. You posted that.
I was wondering where you saw that.
You posted that.
And then what did I say? Sorry, Eric. Trump can't fix everything.
That's right. I remember that.
Start with the small problems first.
Yeah, he does the small problems.
Well,
so the small
I
problems.
gotta get
North and
Eric.
South Korea together, and then we'll fix the Switch.
Hold on. I got to ask Eric. What would be your opinion? I know my reaction. What would be your reaction? Like, maybe we can get it. Maybe it'll happen if Trump receives a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah. I'm indifferent.
Okay, I was just curious. About that.
Yeah, I'm indifferent.
I don't think Trump settled anything. You know what happened?
No, I agree he didn't settle anything.
Somebody, some secret operative woke up, like Kim Jong-un woke up and rolled over, and there's some secret U.S. operative there with like a knife to his throat, and that guy was. Somebody threatened the hell out of him.
Oh, that's not Kim Jong-un anymore. Kim Jong-un has been assassinated, and now there's a fake Kim Jong-un who's going to play ball.
First of all, that was my first thought. Not even
because he turned on a dime, didn't he?
Like that.
But it also happened just after they stopped all their chemical or their nuclear testing because their site is just so crumpled. They had that big earthquake because of that failed launch.
It like caved in, or it was under a sinkhole or something.
USA Today reported that he was willing to allow Christianity into the country.
Either he's dead and this is a new guy, or he's plotting something seriously big.
Either he's plotting. I don't know, man. I think somebody.
It's got to be one. I can't see it to be one of those. No. As fast as he did it, it's one of those two.
It's a black op. I'm telling you, there's somebody threatening everything that's secret. Like there is somebody that is got him by the testicles. Like something is going on.
I agree to that too.
I think
all I can say is it's not Kim Jong-un.
I think
this is not his idea.
He doesn't have the power that he portrays to his people that he has, and he's starting to backpedal. Or he was assassinated by a jackal, been replaced by an actor, and now
it was all secretive too. That's a good plot. That's a good plot for Call of Duty.
That'd be, what was that? The Dictator Part 2, where they actually just kill him and like replace him. Oh, not The Dictator. What was that movie with Seth Rogen and James Franco? The Interview Part 2. Well, they killed him. Never mind. Spoiler alert, they killed him in the end.
One of the best scenes ever shot.
You were bad at spoiler alerts.
You know that? Hey, if you haven't seen that movie by now, that movie was given away for free on Netflix and every other platform. If you haven't seen it by now,
not gonna see it.
You must be living under a rock.
Hey, I saw it.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we're gonna close out today by Bazooka Brian's bad dad jokes. I'm not sure how this is gonna go, but
I don't wanna.
But Eric is a part of it.
Yay!
Eric will be using his experimental acting skills. It's all on the spot.
There's no acting skills here.
All right, Brian, whenever you're ready.
We're gonna do this a couple of times.
No, we need to do this like once or twice.
This is gonna be it.
Okay,
it's almost 6 o'clock.
Well, okay, just edit this out, okay?
Yes.
So I'm gonna action here.
Thanks for seeing me at such short notice.
Oh, no need to thank me, Jim. You're a good patient, and, well, your check never bounces.
And that makes me a good pig?
So what seems to be the problem?
I'm not sure. I woke up the other day and everything seems to hurt. I touch my face, it hurts. I touch my shoulder, it hurts. I touch my ankle, it hurts. I touch my thigh, yep, it hurts. The hell's wrong with me, Doc?
Wow. That is strange. Let me see. I see the problem here.
What is it, Doc? Fibromyalgia?
No, absolutely not. Your pain is quite real. Your finger's broken.
Boom.
That has been Bazooka Brian's Bad Dad Joke. Tune in next week for a brand new adventure.
Every week.
Oh, man, there it is, the conclusion of our new bit. That's actually kind of funny. I'll give it to you a little bit.
All right, so you're acting in the next one.
I'm not acting.
Yeah, I'm
Our
gonna
voices
write
are too similar.
I'm gonna.
Oh, horse shit.
I get to do an accent next week. Yes.
Oh, God.
I just gotta find a good joke to write. It didn't take me long to write this. This is a very old joke that even Mr. Eric here with beautiful eyes will admit that his father told him probably before.
Just letting Dina know that, it's okay. Brian's not actually putting the moves on. Well, I don't know. Are you actually?
I was putting the moves on
She had
Dina the
questions
last
to ask.
time we got together. Now I'm putting the moves on him. I'm thinking a little bit of
Excuse
it. You were so drunk you didn't realize it, didn't you? You looked at me and I was like, I'm just joking, bro. It was when we were at Fortnite. Yeah.
You don't remember where we were at?
Dude, I was so hammered. But it was innocent. I was innocent flirting. But I'm trying to get you both into like kind
First
of
your wife, now my girlfriend.
I want a
Now you.
And now me.
I want a
You're next.
I want a Cuban sandwich.
Brian's just a pansexual.
You missed that joke. I said, hey, well, okay,
No,
take two.
no.
I want a Cuban sandwich.
Take two. This isn't a freaking movie set. We're doing a low-budget podcast here, my friend.
I'm
Which
gonna
we
make
need to
it.
close out.
I want Eric to.
Oh, God.
Dina, I'm sorry. It's just joking. I'm so sorry.
All right, guys, we are going to close this out. I don't know how we ended on Brian's joke. We probably shouldn't do it. We should start off with the podcast next time with that. I don't even.
We tell them we're recording it and lose the footage.
That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. That's a good idea. Anyway, we're going to close this out, and we appreciate everyone for listening again. We had fun with this one. We weren't drunk, but we still had fun with this one.
We can fix that.
This was great. I like being back in the studio.
I like the structure of the studio. Yeah, we get a little bit more content, and
I like the chairs.
all right. Well, we are at AM Podcast 1, and that's at Instagram and Facebook. AM Podcast 18 Twitter. We're gonna make this an ongoing joke that I will find the guy, but everybody probably gets tired of hearing that.
This dude's gonna give it to us just so we can stop hearing it.
Probably. Hopefully. That's the goal anyway. ampodcast1@gmail.com, and what's the website is alternativemillennial.com, right?
Yep.
Okay, so
That fancy website that we got.
alternativemillennial.com, that will land you at our Facebook page currently. That's just temporary. And then we are also on Patreon. So if you guys like what you hear and you want to support us and want this to continue, please support us on Patreon. That will allow us to continue doing what we do. We have some other stuff in talks right now, even maybe with Mr. acting skills and his producer skills over here, maybe even a short film. But what, Brian?
I had one more thing to say. I had a joke written down. We were so worried about the Russians hacking the election. Turns out it was good old Zuck and Facebook's fault. And now they're being reactive. I mean, have you seen those ads on Hulu? I have a theory that involves Al Gore. So, we all know Al Gore invented the internet. The internet spawned Facebook. Facebook posted fake news that supposedly rigged the election. So, by the transitive property, Al Gore got Trump elected.
And that's it. We have no more listeners.
10 minutes ago.
We should have stopped it. Stop the bleeding.
Bazooka!